Alrighty, so we are now officially live, and this week our case study was for the Top Cans. Basically, it was a pay plan that they were trying to come up with.
Goes okay. I was gonna say it was showing offline, but now it shows live.
Yep.
Okay, you're good. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. So with that in mind, I know last time I was group leader, we did some role playing, and guess what? We're gonna do it again.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, I look ahead. I look at the instructors thing to find out what's going to happen with the instructors too.
Yep.
I saw that.
Yeah. Well, at least now you kind of know. So we have a few roles to fill, and with that, I'm choosing my role. I will be. Well, let's just say this. I'm the boss. How about we go with that? And
you're the one doing the meeting, right?
Yeah, I believe my name is Gilbert Porterfield, which is kind of weird. I think I need to grow a mustache, but we have a few roles, and I was going to see which ones you all might be interested in taking. And the roles that we have available are Sid Noble, who is the head of research and development.
I'll take him.
Okay. We have Ruth Gibson, who is our team representative.
I'll take her.
Alrighty. We have Miles Haddock, who is our CFO.
Too much responsibility.
All right.
Oh, you can just pass everything off when you're CFO.
Yeah. We also
I can be the CFO. That way we just do it. Have someone. I'll do it.
Okay. We also have Gus Teller, who is the corporate head of training.
I'm the last one without a role, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And now I have good news. Not really, I'm sorry. We have one final role to fill, who is Bill Perseal, the team leader from Polymers. Did anyone want to try and fill that, or do you guys want to just maybe skip him? Because we don't really have enough for everyone.
It said don't worry about it if you don't have enough people for all the roles.
Yeah.
Just fill the one you have.
Okay. So now that you have your roles for the character, we're going to have fun, and you will all be most likely addressed by your character's name. If you want to call me Mr. Porterfield, I won't take offense to that. I really won't. Or even Gilbert, that's fine too. I'll forgive you guys now. So with that in mind, if you want, I can give you all a few minutes to kind of go and review a little bit about what role you'll be playing, and that way you can have a better understanding of what your character's incentives are for the pay plan.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll give you guys about 5 to 10 minutes to kind of review your character's stuff, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start the meeting again.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Did I say go put the cookie together? What if I wanted to eat it? I don't finish saying what. There's a Terry thing across the social. Just use what I. The cookies that are intended to help. So sad.
Hey, maybe this is a stupid question, but my connection's been kind of poor scrolling through. Which reading is this one from?
This one is.
This is.
Go ahead.
I was say this is number 9.
Is it employee benefits? This one or
no compensation?
Okay, that's why. Okay, my apologies.
Yeah, the unpopular pay plan.
Yeah.
So you do this one before you do this one. Just like my hot water.
That must be our 5 minutes.
That was 5 minutes. I set a timer. Do you all feel comfortable with your positions, or do you need a little bit more time?
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
Could I have a little bit longer?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can set it for another 5 minutes if that's okay.
Yeah, I probably just need like 2 more minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Just let us know when you're ready.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay. Alrighty. Alex, are you ready to be guest teller?
You betcha.
Okay. Alrighty. So then we'll go ahead and we're going to start. Alrighty. So welcome to the Top Chem Pay Committee meeting, everyone. As you know, Sam Verde has asked me to lead this committee. And although that I have worked hard on the initial pay plan, I realize that no plan will be successful without support from employees. Therefore, I want to get your input so we can create a pay plan that will be best for everyone. So what I would like you all to do is to try and brainstorm to come up with ideas for a better pay plan than the one that I came up with. I do have a favor to ask, Mr. Teller, since you are the corporate head of training, would you mind being our scribe and writing down the ideas that we come up with?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Should I like open up a Word document and like write these down for real? Or is this...
Yeah, if you don't mind doing that, that would be fabulous. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, got it.
We'll have our notes later. That way, when we've concluded our meeting, I'll be able to take those notes and I can send them over to Sam and we can see what we need to do from there.
Yep. Sounds perfect.
All righty.
Okay. Well, I think we need to come up with something different other than this pay plan based on performance and teamwork. The teamwork thing's not going to work for me.
Okay.
I work with this bunch of scientists, and they do their best work when they're working independently. So this thing about being based on a team effort, that they spend more time explaining and working and trying to communicate than doing their best work, which is in the lab. So I don't think that's going to work real well for me.
Okay. Do you have a suggestion that you feel might help not only your scientists be able to work better, but also kind of help the company establish a better understanding of what it is that they do?
Yeah, I think for one thing, I think we need to take the matter of money off the table, because if they're working, trying to make a quota or trying to meet a deadline, they're going to probably hurry and miss steps and do things not all the way through. And if you take the worry of money off the table completely, then they don't have to worry about that. And they don't have to worry about making a certain time limit to get a bonus, or they don't have to worry about putting in extra hours without getting paid for it or whatever. I think taking that off the table would help immensely.
Okay, and that is understandable. I do understand where you're coming from. Thank you for kind of sharing more about that, because I'm sorry, I'm not a scientist. I failed Chem 1 in high school, so definitely kind of understanding a lot of with what they do. I don't want them to be missing steps in order to try and reach deadlines so that they're able to get their full pay. We'll definitely try and work on something that will be best suited to you and your team.
Or have to do something over because something was missed or something didn't work out right, or
Exactly.
something blew up in the lab, or something like that.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
All right then. Let's see. Ruth, I know as our team representative, you have a lot of input as well. What are your thoughts on what we could do to improve the pay plan?
Was that directed towards me?
Yeah, sorry.
I missed that.
That's okay.
Hold on, I'm gathering my thoughts.
Okay.
I don't think that the pay should be centered around teams, kind of, because from my perspective, my team is going like gangbusters, and we're already up there, and we don't want to be tied down to all the other employees that haven't already caught up yet. So I also think that the tying it to performance and pay it's not that great of an incentive, and it'll cause more fights than solutions.
Okay, understandable. And yes, I do know that you and everyone in your department, you all have definitely been working extremely hard, and you have made those vast improvements, and everyone has noticed them with the respect and the regard of trying to make sure that everyone in your company or in your team has been able to earn their fair share, but also not, in a sense, kind of be punished for the rest of the company not quite meeting up to with what you and your team have been able to do in regards of your performance increase. So then with that, Mr. Haddock, I know that you are our Chief Financial Officer. It seems to be almost of a clear decision that the idea to, in a sense, kind of tie the pay rate to the performance is not going to work. So with that, I definitely don't think that's going to be something that is beneficial for the company. And I just want to go and ask one more person, because he is the head of our training department. I know he's going to also be involved directly with the new members that we would bring in. Mr. Teller, what are your thoughts with what has been discussed already? Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yes, actually. I think that I really like the pay incentive plans. I think it would do a lot for our company and our employees to work together as a team. Everyone would, I think, all in all, everyone would encourage each other to excel and exceed expectations, because they know that people are directly counting on them. One moment. Ruth mentioned that he likes the idea of more of the employee performance weighing on how well the company does, which is how a lot of our managers are paid. Upper management, about 60% of their pay is tied to how well the company performs. And I think if groups had more of their pay tied to performance within the company or how well their group did, they'd be more apt to perform better. Otherwise, they'd face the consequence of, decreased pay. And I think that's more than enough incentive to get a team going.
All right. I can see where that would come into play. Thank you, guys. One thing I just want to make sure.
I have a question. Sorry, I have a question. You don't mind I interject?
No, go for it.
What if you've got a team where you've got one team member that's kind of just coasting on the achievements and efforts of the rest of the team? You're compensating that whole team equally, but the one person's not contributing equally like the rest of the team. What about that?
I think for situations like that, upper management, heads of teams, would be made aware, or would be aware of the slackers very quickly, and I think this should be addressed, and sort of told, hey, you're a part of this team. There's no free rides. If you want to continue to be a part of this team, pick up the slack, or otherwise we may have to look into replacing you.
So it'd be like you have to keep tabs on what everybody's doing and how their performance is.
In a sense, I don't think it would be necessarily keeping tabs. I think it would be quite obvious in the teams to who's not pulling their own weight. I feel as though the people that don't pull their own weight seem to stick out, especially in group environments where everyone's trying to help each other out.
Okay, so then kind of with from my understanding, in a sense, Gus, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I think you're trying to suggest is that every department head have basically what they consider to be a team performance for their department, and then the individuals that are in those departments, they in a sense perform individual performances as well as team performances and report to that head, which in turn the head will report to our chief financial officer. Is that correct?
In a sense, yeah. I think within every group there should be a clear defined management leader or someone along those lines, or in every department that should oversee them, or I guess be the, I don't know, should be the higher ranking official within the group. So if like a group comes to a stalemate and they cannot make a decision, it's not just a complete bloodbath of arguing back and forth. There will be a decision maker.
Okay, so in a sense, almost like performance reviews, correct?
Yeah. In
Okay,
a sense, yeah.
okay. So with that in mind, I just kind of want to get everyone's thoughts and opinions. If we were to do that, do you all feel that that would be something that would be possible for your teams and your departments?
So who would do the performance reviews? Would it be the supervisor of the team?
Mm-hmm. So for instance,
And how?
Sid, because you are the head of research and development, in a sense, you're going to conduct team performances as well as individual performances where your fellow scientists will come forward and they'll be able to kind of meet with you maybe once a month or once a quarter once we find out for sure how we want to use our incentive pay system. If it decides to go through, they will report what they've been able to do to you or for the company and what they've been able to accomplish. They can also go and then share any suggestions with you on an overall team performance. So if they feel that anyone is not meeting the expected goals or the targeted rates, then that way we can go and you would be able to bring that to me or to our chief financial officer, Mr. Miles Haydock, and at that point we can go and figure out whether further investigation is necessary to correct the situation.
Well, there's only one problem with my department. They tend to work better on their individual projects, and they don't like to take off from their projects to have to meet and go to meetings and go to, that kind of thing. And I have a hard time getting them to do that
Okay.
because they tend to like to work on their own projects.
Okay, and that is understandable. Ms. Gibson, do you feel that your team or your group would also have a hard time being able to do that as well?
Yeah. Because we feel like we're so far ahead anyway. So it's just going to take a while for all the other groups to catch up.
Okay.
What if it were team-based within departments? There's no cross departments. It was scientists stay in their lane, everyone stays in their lane, but projects were more tied to a team-based system.
So like each team would have their own.
Yeah, like your thing is that your department is already excelling, which is great. I don't see how group work would decelerate anything if it was all kept within the department.
Actually, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Okay. So it seems we've
That's a
come
very
to a
good idea.
consensus on that.
I can't shoot that one down.
Yeah. Okay. So then, with that in mind,
What's that?
I have a question for all of you. I kind of want to see which one is better for you guys in a decision if we're going to pursue this pay plan. And that question is, do you feel that guaranteed pay that should be the same for all employees based on market rates and or seniority? Or do you think that the incentive pay linked directly to performance? So what I mean by that is, do you feel that those that have seniority, they've been with the company longer, they should be able to receive higher percentages from the incentive pay than those that may not have been there as longer? And for those that are not there as long as some of our other employees, they could receive pay for the market or the cent target rate or market rates.
I personally think that it should be based off seniority and everyone should have like their base pay, and bonuses are percentages of base pay.
Okay.
So that seniority.
I don't agree with that. Well, no, go ahead.
Oh, I would just say seniority, say someone's with the company for 10, 15 years, and we're higher up, that now put on a team, they wouldn't be getting paid as the same as the new guy who just came in. But if the new guy comes in and works his tail off, then he can still get percentage-based pay bonuses on top of his base pay.
Yeah, performance based on how well the department does, how well they market the product, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's where I guess it kind of blurs. And being Gus, I mean, the Gus within me is trying to fight for teams, but the Alex within me is not. So, but
Well,
yeah, something along those lines.
Okay. Well, I know for
Well,
sure.
the problem I'm running into. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
You're fine.
No, I'd say the problem I'm running into is my scientists may have to work on something for a while before they actually make a breakthrough, and it might take multiple tries before they get it right, and they can't really report any success until they get it to work the way they want it to. And if they're based on a performance incentive, they may not get much of a performance incentive for a while.
But if they have a reasonable base pay and then they hit their breakthrough, mega bonus.
Then they should put a bonus, yeah. But I also think that the topic of pay should not be an issue. That they should pay them, that we should pay them well enough that they don't have to worry about getting enough money by doing the performance-based bonus. I mean, it's nice. That'd be good to have. But if they,
I agree. I think everyone should be paid very reasonably. I don't think that anyone should ever feel like they're underpaid, and any performance bonuses should be exactly that, a bonus. Not something they're necessarily counting on, but just sort of a nice pat on the back.
Okay. So then my question with that would be for Mr. Haddock, I know you are our Chief Financial Officer. Do you think that with the terms that have been discussed with Gus Teller as well as Sid Noble, we would be able to afford such endeavors? And by that I mean, do you feel that we should be able to send out the performance pay or the incentives on a monthly or quarterly basis, or do you feel that it would be better suited to our needs if we were to do that as jobs are completed? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, what we want to do here is, sort of create an even level playing field for everyone. Because, someone that have mentioned that performance-based pay, they may see that as a penalty, whereas as the Chief Financial Officer, I see that more of just a natural fact of doing business. And we're going to face problems within the corporation, and those problems eventually show up on the company's bottom line. And so at the end of the day, the real question is who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay for those problems that we're facing? And so that's what we want to do, is create a level playing field. And so from terms as myself, and it was mentioned earlier that the upper management, 60% of our income is based off performance. And as a management CFO, along with other executives, we see incentive-based pay as an opportunity for people to take ownership of their work, whether it be scientists, might be the humans relation, research, and development. We want everyone to take responsibility as well as ownership. And we see that as an opportunity for everyone to be on a similar playing field. So one thing where we can be able to, and it may also differ between each department. One thing that was mentioned with scientists, similar to sales, is for breakthroughs or for sales to happen, it may not happen in a quarterly basis. It may take several months, even a year or longer. And so we want to make sure that everyone is rewarded for their hard work as well as their efforts, with, good base pay, but as well as also obviously incentives attached to them taking ownership and succeeding. So certain departments, HR, R&D, marketing, it might be a best way to go about things on a quarterly basis, whereas we might take the sales department or the scientists, with research and development, whatever it may be, to do on a yearly basis and things like that.
Okay, and that's fair. So then I definitely think that would be good for all of our departments involved. And with that, I know you were saying for upper management levels, where we would have 60% of our pay be linked to our performance with that. And that would also assume that others who are not in management positions, they would be having 40% of their check, which I'm okay with that. Are my other members of my committee okay with those?
I'm sorry.
Well, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I missed what you said, Samantha. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just asking if my fellow committee members, you included, were comfortable with the notion that manager ranking officials would have 60% of their pay linked to their performance, and other department workers would have only 40% of their pay linked to their performance.
I think I differ with that. I think because my group of scientists may have to work on a project for an extended period of time before they see a breakthrough. Maybe their base pay should be a higher percentage. Instead of 40%, maybe 90% of what they, their base pay of 90% of what they're getting, and then the other 10% could be the bonus. They have it all work out in the end, but since they're working longer on something, it takes longer for them to see results.
Okay. Yeah, one thing that obviously we want everyone to feel, in a sense, to be taken care of, to be appreciated, and in a job experience, oftentimes that feeling comes from being compensated properly. But what we want to try to avoid is possibly people, since their base pay is so high, to be okay without challenging themselves, without putting in the extra effort, the extra effort, whether it's as a team or as an individual, to get the results. And so we don't want people to be complacent. And that's oftentimes what happens when everything is given to them on a silver platter, that oftentimes the complacency kicks in. And so not that that's always the case, but those are situations that we want to avoid. And so we want scientists included to have a good base pay, but we also want to make sure that they know that their performance, just like everyone else's, needs to always be on point.
It's like that article that we read for this section. It talked about the difference between labor rates and labor costs. Even though you might have to pay a little bit higher per labor rate, if their production is high, then their labor costs are actually less.
True.
So if they are expected to work for their money, but if they work hard and do good work, then they'll get paid well.
So then how much would you suggest that we guarantee to all of our employees?
I think it depends on department.
Okay.
Like
So for instance, for your department, how much would you guarantee your scientists, and then how much would you want to link to their performance?
I'd say 85% to their base pay and 15%.
Okay.
And then just varies from department to department depending on what each one does. Like Ruth, in her department, they work towards actually making the product and getting it ready to sell. So if they put out, like I said, what they used to do in 3 months, they now do in 3 weeks. I think that's fantastic. And that should be worth a bonus right there.
Yes, I agree. Ruth, you and your department, you guys have done astounding work, and we are all deeply impressed with the improvements you've made in such a short time.
Thank you.
Good job, Ruth.
I think the corporate head of training needs a giant bonus.
Okay, what's your argument for that?
Yes, let's hear.
I just got a feeling he deserves one or something like that.
All the
Well, we know you deal
responsibilities that he has in his job.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting all these people trained. Yeah, exactly.
The weight of the company is on my shoulders all the time. Oh man.
It is. And because it is, and we have so much that rests on your shoulders, I think because you are a corporate head of training, you are a management level officer, I think you should be guaranteed 40% of your paycheck each week, but also I think that because you are a professional, you know exactly what you're doing and you know how to move the company forward, 60% should be linked to your performance to ensure that the training of our new recruits will better benefit the company.
So
Do you feel that fair?
Just say yes.
I mean, I could.
Okay, so does his performance bonus also reflect off the performance of the people that he's trained?
Yes.
No.
So it's kind of a.
What if you
he
hire
trains
someone
well,
horrible and I'm supposed to train them?
Well, if you're head of training,
then your bonus will be reflected
in hiring.
Oh, would he be involved in hiring as well?
Yes.
Oh, if I can be involved in hiring, then yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Training and hiring usually go hand in hand. We would definitely want your input so that way we're not going to hinder your ability to train the best of the best.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
And train the best of your ability.
Yes.
Oh yeah, those training wheels will be coming off within a day or two.
Okay. Because
Very good.
60% of your pay will be linked to how well you perform not only as the head of our training department, but also how well your new trainees do in their new departments.
Sweet. Hopefully you guys can afford to keep me on after I outperform everything.
Well, if you outperform
If you
our
do well,
exceeded
yeah. If you do
expectations,
that well, what's that?
Gus is
Sorry, I missed
definitely
that.
enthusiastic.
There you go. He's on board with that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. That's awesome.
So then, yes, I know Gus is definitely on board with that. Ruth, I know you've been kind of quiet, and I know your team has done outstanding performance, as we've mentioned before. How much would you want to charge or link to your department's pay?
Based on teamwork?
Yes.
I don't know.
Would you feel that 15%, which would be the same as Sid's department, do you feel that would be fair? That 15% of their performance is linked to their pay?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Alrighty, so
It's more than the current 4%. So
That's true. That would
it is a
definitely, yeah.
change.
It is a change, but that can be flexible.
all right.
Okay, but that changes the amount that stays fixed. If you said it was 6% based on performance, so that's 94% based on your regular pay. So it goes from 94% to 85%.
Yeah. I think that's a good starting ground to at least test out the program, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So then, are we all, in a sense, agreeing to try to work the incentive pay system and implement it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Okay. So
If we don't like it, we'll change it.
Oop, I'm sorry.
I said if it doesn't work out, we can change it again, I guess.
Yep, we'll have another meeting. So since we agree, I will hereby close the meeting, and I will take everyone's suggestions to Sam Verde. And at that point, we can go and proceed with implementing our incentive pay system. And
Okay.
so now that our meeting is closed, I kind of want everyone to relax out of your top chem roles for a moment, and you're now back to your regular you. You guys are awesome. I would like you, though, to kind of take a moment to explain what you feel the best approach to compensation at top chem is. So these are your own thoughts regarding them.
You mean during the hiring procedure? What to offer candidates, you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? You mean like when you're interviewing potential candidates, what your offer would be
Oh,
to
no.
them? Like,
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. No, that was not what I was meaning to ask. So I would like for you to explain what you think the best approach to the compensation at Top Chem would be as yourself. So not as Sid Noble.
I think. Oh, it's hard to explain. I feel like it would be even harder to implement, but if you could, I think it would work really well. I think it should do teamwork with team and individual bonuses, because I feel like sometimes, you can get a team and certain people within the team work extremely hard and other people don't, but they're still working, at par level. They're still working good, but some people go above and beyond. And I think if your group performs above and beyond, bonus. If you individually are rocking it, bonus. And then, I mean, I know that's hard to implement, but I feel like it gives groups and individuals reason to work hard. And I think there should be, I don't know exactly what percent of pay, like 10 to 20% pay, variable depending on performance. So let's say you got like 80% of your pay guaranteed or whatever. You can get another 10% on just average good performance with your group and another 10% average good performance with yourself. But if you go in above and beyond, maybe your group can get 20% and you can get 20%. So you could technically net 120% of what you would have if your group and you do really good. Something like that. I think that'd be cool, but then again, that's difficult to implement.
Yeah, it would be.
It would take a lot of eyes and a lot of performance reviews of like every single person. So I don't know.
That, and I think each department would, in a sense, have to go and make their own target goals for everyone to reach.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be something that would have to be agreed upon by management.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it has to be decided department by department.
Yeah. Oh, completely. I completely agree with that.
Because each department has different roles, different duties, different, what their job is and what their goals are.
Mm-hmm.
Are different. So.
All right.
So you have a Dougie.
Yes, she's spying at me, and I'm trying to figure out what she wants. You want to go outside? Okay, you want to go outside? Oh, all right. Hang on, guys. I will be right back. I'm going to let him out real quick.
He's like, let me go to the bathroom.
He's looking up a kid. Yeah, I've got 2 dogs, and they're like 2 more kids. You leave them alone, they get into mischief.
Yep.
Poop and pee.
Yeah, they poop and pee everywhere. They're not even puppies either. They're both 9 years old.
Oh.
And they still get in trouble.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's fine.
You're good.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
All right. Does anyone else have anything that they feel would be in the better interest or the best approach for compensation at Top Chem?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I had a lot of similar thoughts like Alex. I think it's good to have good base pays as well as incentives, bonuses, and each department they're all run so differently, and what they're asked to do is so different. But I think having a level of base pay and also bonuses is important to at least have both, just because it helps the level of what's the word I'm looking for? Just the level of, I guess, excellence when it comes to the way people work.
Mhm.
It keeps people on track when it comes to performance and making sure they're always on top of their game.
Yeah, I agree. Something along the lines of each department makes kind of like their goals for the month. Nothing too crazy, just like their standard goals. And if your team reaches those goals, then they get their payment for it. But if they don't, then I don't feel like the pay should be, I guess, considered bonus. I think it should be, are you hitting what we expect of you? Because if you are, then you'll get your full pay. If you're not hitting what we expect of you, then that's when you only get your 80% base pay or something like that. Have certain numbers, whatever those are, but like certain key numbers for each department. Like for sales, we need certain amount of, I don't know, companies talk to, or sale, like you've got like you outreach this to this many people this month, you sold this many products, this much dollars, however it works. I don't know exactly how this company would work, but set certain baselines. If you hit your baseline, you get it. If you hit the numbers that are set that are far above the baseline, then you get an extra bonus beyond.
What if you have a hard time? What if you have a rough quarter? What if the stock market drops out at the bottom and nobody has any money to buy anything, and you struggle to sell, and what then?
You still have a decent base pay.
All right.
That's true. Here you go. Yeah.
One question I had is, I know most jobs they pay on a bi-weekly basis, and for some of the department heads, them and their teams and their focuses could take much longer than what would be needed to be able to evaluate them for their bi-weekly pay. Do you think some of their bonuses should be taken out of that, or do you think that depending on what they have to do and generally how long it takes, that should be reflected in when they receive their bonuses?
Well, so I'm interviewing with a couple software sales companies and just kind of digging into looking into their pay and their pay structure, just because sales can, especially corporate sales, can take a long period of time. It can take months. It can take up to a year, maybe longer.
Yeah.
And so their structure when it comes to bonuses happen on a quarterly basis. And that's something that's explained in the interview is, some quarters you fall short, sometimes you don't, but then there's other quarters that have compounded because you've missed kind of those quarterly time windows. But then on that third quarter where you missed your first two, it's like you got a bunch of bonuses coming in on that third quarter, and it makes up for that amount of time. And so I think it all depends, again, with which department, exactly. But sometimes, with sales, quarterly, you wait a little bit longer to get your bonuses.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good idea.
Same here.
People can plan their bills off of their base pay, and then bonuses are sort of what come in for their performance. But
And they can use that for Christmas or something.
Yeah.
Use their bonus for some extra.
Christmas, a vacation.
All right.
Company Christmas bonuses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That could be
Yeah.
when, after everything has essentially been met and we've been able to kind of look at everyone's performance, not only on an individual, but for a team or department basis. I think that would be best to send it out as like a Christmas bonus, because they're already receiving like 80 to 85% of their base pay.
Hmm.
So I think that would actually be fair.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Buy Christmas presents. So then I think that's kind of about it. Is there anything anyone would like to add real quick before I go into our final discussion topic?
No, I think you did good. I think we did real well.
Okay. So then I do have to ask, what do you feel is the most important thing that you've learned from this case?
Money is a touchy subject.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And you have to be paid enough to live on. If you don't have enough, then you get employees that don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
If you underpay them, or if they feel like they're not getting paid fairly. So
This whole case reminded me of where I'm working right now because the pay is just like getting all restructured and there's employees freaking out and just a bunch of different stuff. I just want to like send this into my boss and be like, all right, we got to have a discussion like this.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. See, I've never worked under a pay scale other than hourly.
Same here.
So I don't know what it's like to have a base pay plus commission or 100% commission. I don't know any of that. I've never worked.
I've only really worked strictly 100% commission.
Oh, wow.
It can be scary.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It certainly makes you motivated to close out those deals depending on what it is that you're doing for either real estate or I think telemarketing could also be considered commission pay, right?
I think telemarketing is a little bit of base and commission.
Okay.
But yeah, it's good to have a base.
Yeah. Well, where I currently work, we've got hourly guys, and then we have guys who make a percentage off of the job that we go out to work at. We do like installation of high-end closets and stuff. And so we're not necessarily commissioned because we're not selling the jobs. We just show up every day and there's a job. But then when our boss wants people to go do other things, the percentage guys are like, yeah, no way, I'm not doing that. You pay me to go do the job. I'm not doing anything other than what I'm getting directly paid for. And so it creates a big rift.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's one of the takeaways I had was it's important to listen because there's, here we have so many different backgrounds between the five of us and so many different, job experiences even up to this point in life. And I think, it's important, especially in this case study, to listen from the points of view from everyone. And not that everyone's correct or has to be correct, but it's just important to listen to others when talking about something as touchy as this and important in a business. Money, is how it revolves around the business. But I think it's just important to listen to come up, because if you don't listen, you're not going to come up with the correct solution.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or a solution that's equitable and fair to everybody.
Yeah.
Or something everything that everybody can live with.
Yeah, better put.
All right, then. And then my follow-up question would be, how would each of you rate the overall quality of today's discussion, ranging from number 0 to 10?
Oh, you got a 10.
100%.
I think you did great.
200.
I know it would have been better if I brought pizza. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still working on it, but Alex hasn't found the breakthrough yet. We're still waiting on it.
I'm sorry.
I had McDonald's, so
So you're tied over for tonight, Alex.
Okay.
I'm not angry this time.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your patience for
Okay.
that. And with that in mind, what did I do as a discussion leader that each of you liked?
You facilitated very well all the conversations between us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you did well too. Yeah, I think you did well in taking our input and directing it back to the discussion and trying to keep everybody in character.
Agreed.
Yes.
Thank you. And then do you feel that there is anything I can do better for next time?
Yeah, pizza. Oh.
Exactly.
I love how that's our like go-to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still working on that. I have ordered pizza, so I'm halfway there. The other half is just trying to find a way to get it to you all. I'm in that process, but first I will put my life on the line to make sure that every bit I want to send you is good.
Okay.
Or taste test it, and I'm putting my life on the line to make sure it's of top quality.
Just so
And then
you
once
know,
I have it, I'll send it.
Domino's delivers.
That's true. They do.
Yeah,
But once
they
I
do.
know Domino's, their pizza is on par with my standards, I'll send them out.
There you go.
And they know
All right.
those cars with the pizza ovens.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
All right. So then I feel that's about it for overall this for the case. Is there anything else that you all wanted to discuss real quick?
How's
Oh,
the
yeah.
doohickeys? How's the doohickey paper?
Did you email the professor about exactly what
What
the
else we
elements
could write
we were
on?
supposed to be writing on?
I did, and I never got an answer back.
Perfect.
No.
Because I know
I mean-
I did a small part last time in proofreading it and kind of making sure everything flowed. I wasn't sure if that was enough. I felt bad. I'm like, I don't know what really more to contribute. So again, if you guys come up with anything or if you need help, let me know. Same with Alex. That way we can kind of do our share as well.
Yeah, right now I'm sitting like rollless.
I know.
Uh,
It's okay, Alex. We'll go get pizza.
so, but
Don't worry. We'll make sure you feel involved.
Okay.
okay.
And then,
I wouldn't worry too much.
okay. With that, do we already have a Google Doc created where we're sharing it?
I don't think there's been one created yet.
Okay. So then if maybe what I can do is I'll try and create one right now. Actually, give me one moment.
I actually have my part almost done. I got to proofread it, make sure it's the way I like it,
Okay.
and I can go ahead and contribute that as soon as you put that Google Doc up.
Okay. Give it
Probably
one
not
moment.
tonight, probably tomorrow.
Yeah. So let's see. This is our third doohickey paper, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Third. Yep. Third.
Okay, so let me go and that one. That one.
You know, she finally got around to grading the first one this week.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm like, I wonder why it took so long.
I think she probably has classes too.
That's right. I didn't even think about that.
She probably has like multiple classes that she has to monitor in grade. So
Not fun. Okay, so I sent the link to all of you. It's just a blank document. What I will be doing is I'll just be adding in sections, and then that way we can kind of have everyone kind of put in their part, and then when we get ready to, I think by next week or week 11, whenever we have to go and submit it, we can go and just kind of format it, make sure it looks all nice.
I noticed one thing on the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the paragraphs were justified and some of them weren't.
Yeah, I made sure when I went and I submitted it, everything was justified. So all the paragraphs were even. They lined up to the margins.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was looking through. I'm like, let me just check. And I'm like, oh, these aren't done. So I worked on that a little bit.
Can't do that. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
And I emailed you I sent it in the group email, the notes I took during our discussion, Samantha.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will
you emailed
definitely
that
go over.
Oh, you emailed that to everybody?
Yeah, I just threw it in the
Okay,
group
good.
email and sent it out.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay. Very good.
So I have it. I basically just took the format from the last doohickey and I'm deleting some of the other stuff for like the paragraphs and problems, and that way we can just go and add in what we need to add in the appropriate place. So yeah.
Okay.
That way everyone has an opportunity to kind of look at it, see what we've gotten done so far.
Cool.
Okay. Sounds good.
If you haven't gotten it, or if for whatever reason you are unable to access it, let me know and I will try and fix it so that way you'll be able to access it and go and look at it and see what we've done so far.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I've not had any problem. I haven't had any problem before.
Okay. Sweet. So then I think that's about it for this meeting. I will go and I'll do, of course, the write-up for it. And then just to double check, when I do my write-up, I also have the Google link or the YouTube link for our video in that paper, right?
You
Wait,
actually
come again?
You posted at the
Discussion board.
Okay.
yeah.
I think that's the only place you have to put that.
Okay. Because, yeah,
Oh,
last time I
yeah.
think I had that on the paper as well as the discussion board. I wasn't sure, so I'm like, yeah, we'll do both.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think it
It
was.
doesn't have to, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt either
Right.
to be
And a
involved.
safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. Well, thanks, Samantha.
Yep. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
everyone, for being so awesome and for dealing with my craziness. And I will see you all next week.
Yep.
All right.
Wait,
Hey, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.
All right, never mind. All right, we're good. See you guys.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
see you guys. Have a good one.